Sanibona, ngaphambi singene kwivideo namuhla, ngithi angithathe lithuba ngibonge isupport nothando nesikhombise lona lingaphezulu kokucabanga kwethu. Siyacela niqhubeke nisupporte njalo ngokubuka amavideo ethu, ungakhohlwa ukukhomenta, ushare, ulike. Siyafisa ukuzwa umbono wakho. Sicela ke singene kwivideo namuhla. The connection between Zethembe Chongco and Bhekicele stems from a 2008 incident in KwaZulu-Natal, South Africa, where Chongco, a senior police officer, was killed in a violent ambush. Bhekicele, then the KZN MEC for Transport, Community Safety and Liaison, reacted strongly to the murder, launching a fierce crackdown on the suspect that was characterized as a shoot-to-kill approach. Superintendent Chongco was a highly regarded police officer and station commander for the Kranskop police station. He also headed the specialized taxi violence unit in the area. In August 27, 2008, Chongco was ambushed and killed while escorting prisoners to court in the KwaMaphumulo area, north of KwaZulu-Natal. Following the killing, Bhekicele urged police officers not to die with guns in their pockets, but to shoot hard at criminals. He applauded the subsequent rapid killings of several suspects by police, stating that police officers must ensure that they protect themselves and put criminals behind bars or to the nearest mortuary. Several individuals suspected of involvement in Chongco's murder were subsequently killed in shootout with the police, including Makojela Ndimande, Sibusiso Thokozantembe, and Lee Buthelezi. The incident and the subsequent crackdown raised significant concern from the Independent Complaint Directorate and civil society regarding police conduct, with claims that suspects were being killed rather than arrested.
Okay, Chair. I'm then about to read on page 14, which will be 35.10.
35.10, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, yes, it reads thus. Mr. Mkhize further stated that some of the victims on the list was Kopolota and Mthembu. Bongizo Mhlongo had received photos on his cell phone depicting that Kopolota and Mthembu had been killed, and Bongizo said that he was sent those photos by Mostert from the Ketomena unit. He said that then Bongizo reported that he was going to the Ketomena members who sent him the photos, and as his bodyguard, him and Bongizo drove to Tonga Toll Plaza, where they met Mr. Mostert and another white man in a silver BMW sedan. There, Bongizo took out a transparent plastic bag with a lot of money in banknotes from his car's boot and got into Mr. Mostert's car. Later, he came out of Mr. Mostert's car without that plastic of money. His statement is attached here too and marked as Annexure MN7.
That paragraph will be 35.11.
Yes, Chair. Yes.
Annexure MN7 is MN 00135. Which I suppose will be properly marked MN7. It is not marked Advocate Kowe. And you will later then provide a list of those exhibits.
Will do so, Chair.
Proceed, ma'am.
Yes, thank you, Chair. My little bit of elaboration that I wanted to mention was that, according to Mr. Bongani Mandla Mkhize, they know who killed Mr. Chongco. And it's definitely not the people who were being sought allegedly for killing Superintendent Chongco. Because hitmen were allegedly arranged to kill Mr. Chongco, and everybody else was blamed for that. whom they wanted killed, and they would say they killed. So the reason would be people are taken because they killed Tonko. They killed Tonko. Although the real people who killed him are known. So that's what he's highlighting. That's what I gathered from his statement.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, thank
Before
you.
you move on, at paragraph 35.6, 35.7, and 35.8, 35.9, you refer to money being paid, and the allegation is that the money will be given to the big boss. Is it where did the money come from? Was it from the taxi association?
Yes, according to Mr. Bongani Mkize, him and others, actually it's Mr. Begingo's Mtiani Dlondlo. He says him and Mr. Kanyile, Mr. Ngobo, Sanele, and Bongizwe took out a lot of cash. They gathered money and they went to pay Ketomena unit for having killed Kopolotan Tuli and Natim Tem. That's what he's saying in his statement.
Thank you.
Please just give me a second. Now, in relation to the gathered money that you have just mentioned, mention is also made of monetary awards to the officers who allegedly killed people.
Yes, Chair.
If you look at your September 2020 memorandum to Advocate Batoi, it doesn't have a page numbering, or it's page 38 of 56,
Yes,
the September memorandum.
yes, Chair.
At the bottom there, paragraph 5, monetary awards.
Yes, Chair.
Can you read that paragraph, please?
Okay, thank you, Chair. The South African Police Service accepted that the SVC Ketomena section was honest in combating the taxi violence in the province and rewarded all officers who were involved in the taxi violence task team, including Boysen. The reward was in the form of cash and certificates. The motivation for the reward states the role of Boysen in the operation, hence he was rewarded. Boysen further motivated for payment of sources, informers, who provided information that led to the killing of the KwaMaphumulo Taxi Association members. Boysen, as the provincial commander of organized crime, had intimate knowledge of the operations of the Ketomena SVC section when it was eliminating the KwaMaphumulo Taxi Association members instead of arresting them for any alleged offenses. As a manager, he did nothing to stop this killing spree because it was fulfilling their arrangement with the Stenga Taxi Association as stated in Matonzi's statement.
Advocate Kowe and your team, perhaps you can assist here. In our records, the document that we read last year, the records are voluminous, but there is an annexure that shows that members of the Ketomena unit were paid a certain amount of money. If my recollection is correct, it was 10,000 rand per head. Would you remember where in the records would we find that? You can look into that so that I can ask the witness about it. If not, we can park it and deal with it later, after my researcher has picked the page.
Can I, as a follow-up to your question, so when one looks at what you have in your memorandum of September,
Yes, sir.
which talks about monetary awards, this would obviously come from SAPS. What you're referring to in your September memorandum,
Yes, those are performance rewards.
performance sort
Yes.
of awards.
Yes.
Meaning that they got their performance awards and the reward from the Taxi Association for having eliminated these people.
Yes, according to the witnesses, they were paid the monies, and also on the other hand, the employer SAPS reward them for good performance.
Thank you.
Yes.
Good performance in this case, meaning for the killing of the deceased.
Well, that's what it is, but obviously it's not mentioned like that. Chair. It's mentioned as eliminating or combating taxi violence in the area. Whereas, according to the witnesses who were members of the Stenger Taxi Association, they allege in their statements that as members of the Stenger Taxi Association, they colluded or they agreed with the Ketomena unit to deal with the KwaMaphumulo Taxi Association. Hence, all the people that were killed were members of the KwaMaphumulo Taxi Association. However, to the employer, it appears to have been portrayed as having quelled taxi violence in the province. Hence, the employer rewarded them for that.
Thank you. Just give me a second.
Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
I'm told it's on page SB 1A.
SB?
1A. At SB 1A 082.
Some of our bundles are stored elsewhere because there's just a lot of documents and we don't have space. We will look into that. You can proceed. I'll just pass
Yes,
the
Chair.
question because we have another one. I beg your pardon. Thank you. Yes, our bundles are kept elsewhere because we don't have a space here. They will bring those documents. We have the Boyson's bundle 1 of 11. In that bundle, there are pages B00014 to B00015, 16 and 16. Those 3 pages show list of officers, their surnames, their initials, and the awards, and the total amounts of money. We will compare that with the one that you've just referred to us. But in most instances, we will tick the names. If you look at the one that appears at B00016, most of those people were given 10,000 rand awards. and they are officers. If you look at B00015, you will see all of them are officers. Some were given 10,000 rand awards, in fact, most of them, and others, few of them, 15,000 rand. On the first page of that award list, B00014, the first one there is Major General Boyson, then Brigadier, JW, 10,000 rand. Warrant Officer Padayachi, nothing. And the list follows. But most of them were given higher amounts. I think the highest paid there is 95,000 to Warrant Officer Mostert. What I want to ascertain regarding these monetary awards that you are referring to is whether the money that was collected, the 750,000 and the million rand, is the money that was used to pay these awards, which I've referred to in these 3 pages. If you know, if you don't, we will understand.
Yes, Chair. No, my understanding from the reading of the witness statements was that the 750,000 for the murder of Kopolotan Tulu and somebody else, and the 1 million rand for the murder of Mr. Bongani Elfas Mkize, who was the chairman of the Stenga Taxi Association, those are separate. That is what the Stenga Taxi Association gathered to pay the Ketomena, as per the witnesses' statements, to say you have done well by killing these people because their deaths were planned. And according to the witnesses, they were working from the Stenga Taxi Association. They were working together with the Ketomena police officers. And they had asked them to kill these people. After killing them, they paid them to say thank you. That is why one of the witnesses here, I don't know whether it's Bongizo Mkize, he says he was even sent photos. He was told that Bongizo was sent photos on his cell phone showing that some people, Kopolota and somebody else, were killed, and he was sent those photos by Mostert. Mostert is from where? From the Katomena. He's the one who allegedly received 95,000 rand from the police side. So they are separate here. The awards, monetary awards, is by the employer.
Yes, that's what I want to understand.
Yes, it's separate.
Yes.
I'm sorry for going the long way.
Yes.
I was trying to elaborate and make it clear.
The monetary awards you are referring to in your documents,
Yes, Chair.
was that awards in respect of the killing of those people, the 10,000 rand each per head, or separate from the employer awards?
The 10,000 and other amounts from the employer, SAPS, was the awards to the employees, the Ketomena unit members, for having combated taxi violence in the province, because that's how they presented to the employer, to say they have dealt with taxi violence in the province. Whereas the witnesses are saying something else, that they actually were killing these people from a rival taxi association, being the Kwama Pumulo.
Yes. We have a file here
Yes.
containing the statement and attachments to the statement,
Yes.
the statement of Advocate Batoi.
Okay, Chair.
Now, one of the annexures in the statement, to the statement, is SB 1A082. It's headed Monetary and Non-Monetary Awards.
Yes, Chair.
Yes. Now, in this annexure SB1 A082, annexed to Advocate Batoi's affidavit, a list of candidates who qualified for awards included the first one, Major General Boissons. I know you don't have that, but I have a document.
Yes.
Before I ask you a question, I just want to let you know the basis why I'm going to ask you this question.
Yes, Chair.
In the affidavit of Advocate Batoi, she refers to the affidavit of Advocate Jiba. The relevant part of that affidavit of Advocate Jiba make mentions of the monetary awards.
Yes.
Paragraph 16.7 of the extract from the affidavit of Advocate Jiba reads as follows. The information further revealed that the unlawful activities of the killing suspects and or civilians were in certain instances motivated by the applicants and members of his unit. The applicant here referring to Major General Boissons, and members of his unit's desire to enrich themselves by means of state monetary awards and or certificates for excellent performance. In this regard, I annexed a copy of an example of such a monetary award claim documented as NJ1 and in which inter alia the applicant is recommended for such an award resulting from the deaths of suspects. The point made there refers to that SB1A 082 where Major General Boissons and others are listed as candidates who received the awards.
Yes.
Now, these awards, in relation to this paragraph, are not the employer's awards that we read in those 3 pages earlier in the Boissons document. This, if my understanding is correct, are the awards for the killing of those people. Is my understanding correct? Or if you know, if you don't know?
Yeah, I don't know, Chair.
I ask this question because there seem to have been two separate awards. One by the employer for having subdued the criminality
Yes.
in KZN in those areas. The second part of the awards, as I understand the statement
Yes.
by Advocate Jiba, referred to by Advocate Batoi, which they call trophies, in respect of the monetary payment for killing the suspects or the civilians.
Okay, Chair. What I understand is the payments from the Stenger Taxi Association rewarding or paying the Ketomena unit as per the witnesses for having killed certain people whose deaths were planned and the names given to Ketomena to kill under the pretext that they had killed Superintendent Zetembe Tongo. That's the 750,000, the 1 million rand. I don't know if there's any more, but from the statements, it's only those two. And the second monetary rewards or payments was from the employer under the pretext that they have quelled taxi violence in the province of KwaZulu-Natal. Then they gave them monetary and non-monetary awards, the 10,000, the whatever, different amounts, and the certificates for excellent performance. That's how I understand. And I have seen the copies of those monetary awards and the certificates. I've seen them. Those were provided to me as well. I just don't have them now anymore as I don't have access to those documents.
And those, the monetary awards for killing the suspect. Thank you. I beg your pardon. The monetary awards for killing the suspects would be in relation to the few listed people, not the long list of the employer, the 3-page document, because here, the monetary and non-monetary awards, which would have included a certificate, were in respect of about 18 members of the Katomena, as listed in this annexure. But the amounts do not appear in the list. So your understanding is that the million rand and the 750,000 collected from the taxi association people in Stenger was to reward those people who killed the people that they had identified.
Yes, Chair.
According to you.
Yes, Chair.
And separate and quite distinct from the employer monetary awards.
Yes, those are separate, yes.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Afternoon, Chair.
Advocate Noko, I did not warn you, but you know what is the right thing. You are still under oath.
Yes, Chair.
Jen, you were to begin with paragraph 36 at page 16 of your affidavit.
Yes, Chair. May I please, before I go to this, because these are not extracts from statements or anymore, answer your question, the previous question about the direct involvement or so, or something along those lines of General Poison, Major General Poison, in the dockets. Yes, okay. Chair, when this...
Sorry, Sorry, Chair, can I have an audience? I just omitted to mention that Mr. Harley asked to be excused for a moment. He's busy attending to certain evidence that the witness is currently testifying about. He's still in the building, but he's just stepped out to attend to some aspects of the evidence.
Relating to what she has testified about,
Correct, Chair.
in particular?
He didn't convey what it is.
Advocate, do you have an idea? Is he preparing those exhibits?
No, Madam Chair.
I'm not putting you on a spot.
No, Madam Chair, he isn't. He's just trying to put up some notes that can assist.
Yes. Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Chair. What I need to state is that when I was brought into the case and provided with a prosecution memorandum, the statements of some of the witnesses, the indictment, the slide presentation, all the documents that the prosecution team provided to me, and their verbal presentations and our verbal engagements as well. And upon me reading all those documents and the statements, I gathered that there's an enterprise in this case that existed, because it met all the requirements in terms of it being that pattern of committing illegal activities, that is the killing of the 28 people and the commission of other offenses, the assault, the pointing of firearms and malicious property and all of those things. And it was continuing because it continued for many years, even prior to the May 2008 that is mentioned in the indictment. It started even prior to that, as per Mr. Danikas, who was working in the very same unit. And further that there was a system of authority and management. And Major General Boysen was one of those that were managing the enterprise, as it was labeled. So there was that pattern of racketeering. Hence, they were charged in terms of POCA legislation, the Prevention of Organized Crime Act 121 of 1988, because there was that pattern of racketeering. And POCA legislation, as we all know, Chair, is that it was promulgated to deal with matters like this, where some people are not directly implicated, but it's induced from the circumstances. Hence, the POCA legislation permits circumstantial evidence to be used. It also permits similar fact evidence. In this case, with regards to similar fact evidence, we can go to the statement of Mr. Aristides Danikas. For example, in one of the incidents, he says, during 2007, which happened, it's outside the indictment. It was prior to the indictment. He says, for example, in one of the incidents, he mentions in his statement that during 2007, when he was having lunch with Major General Boysen in one of the cafes, cafe or restaurant in Musgrave, Mr. Boysen told him and showed him a picture of a person on his cell phone whom he said his name was Jabulani, and allegedly he had escaped or whatever and had done some wrong things, I don't know. And Mr. Danika said, Major General Boysen told him that if he sees that Jabulani, he's going to plant a bullet in his head. Then Mr. Danikas goes on to say, later he was invited by Major General Boysen to go look for Jabulani, and they went to Umlazi. I forgot the name of the section, but they proceeded to Umlazi with Major General Boysen along with the other members of the Ketomena. And Mr. Danika says when they got to Umlazi, Major General Boysen remained in the car that had parked where all other members had parked their cars. He stayed in the car while everyone else, including Danikas, they alighted from their cars, and he said they went into a house which was just there by where they had parked. And then one person who was called Jabulani, whom they were looking for, was dragged out. It was raining. He was outside in the rain wearing only a dark underwear. And he was assaulted and kicked, handcuffed, lying on the floor, and he was shot and killed there. So Major General Boysen was not there with them, but he was in the car, according to Mr. Danikas. And according to Mr. Danikas, Major General Boysen had told him that a bullet will be planted in this Jabulani's head. And indeed it was, because they went to that scene, but he remained in the car. So when you check in all these dockets, he is not there physically, but he knows about these incidents. And that's what the POCA legislation provides for. You want, it's hard to really pin someone to say you took this bottle and put it here. But circumstantially, it can be induced that this person knows. So he apparently, he knew about all these incidents because Mr. Danikas further says he would go to this, he gets called after the incident is like the murders are committed. And according to Mr. Danikas, then the scenes will be altered. Cartridges removed or swapped or whatever, but the murder scenes will be messed up before the forensics and the IP and all of that are called. That's what Mr. Danikas said. So that is what the similar fact evidence, which happened, just one incident, he mentions more, just one incident that happened in 2007. So that is a similar fact evidence that is allowed in terms of POCA legislation to be used in racketeering offenses. Then we put the similar fact evidence. We go to hearsay evidence. There is hearsay evidence here as well. In terms of, for example, some of the witnesses who have deposed of statements and affidavits have passed away. But the Criminal Law Amendment Act 45 of 1988, it allows the prosecution to use statements of deceased people, as long as they meet the criteria, of course, of being reliable and being in the interest of justice. So when I looked at these statements, according to me, not being a presiding officer, of course, but in my prosecutorial discretion, they were reliable, and it was definitely in the interest of justice because so many people have been massacred under similar circumstances. A blind eye can be turned onto this. People are all killed under similar circumstances. What does that mean? They don't even arrest any one of them. All of them are killed. I do not deny the fact that police are being killed, threatened by people who are being sought for criminal offenses. But it can never be the position that in every case, 28 reported and clearly there is more. All of them are killed and all of them are were allegedly trying to endanger the police's lives, even where it doesn't make sense, according to ballistic reports, experts reports. So all those. So that is circumstantial evidence. It can be inferred from that one. And also, when we look at the murder of Mr. Bongani Elfas Mkhize, who was a chairperson of the KwaMaphumulo Taxi Association, whose murder was planned, according to Mr. Mutiani Dlondlo. It was planned within the Stenga Taxi Association, and his name, with others, were given to the Ketomena to kill them. And indeed, he was killed by Ketomena. So as far as Mr. Bongani Mkhize is concerned, he had, out of desperation, asked for help not to be killed, although he was killed after the interdict, but he was killed. But his mother was killed, was planned, according to the witness, and the Ketomena was paid for that. And according to the witness, Mr. Boysen, General Boysen was one of those who were paid at somewhere in Gateway or something like that for his mother. That's what the witness is saying. So you can see from that after making an affidavit to say, no, Mr. Mkhize won't be killed, he won't be harmed or anything like that, the interdict will be complied with, he will be requested through his lawyer, he was killed afterwards. So General Boysen was aware of that as well. But also, I'm not aware of anything that is mentioned to have been done against those members of Ketomena unit who shot at Mr. Bongani Mkhize, because it was not him directly who shot at him, but he knows the circumstances. So it's inferred circumstantially from that. Yeah, so that is what I wanted to illustrate, to say I was convinced on that basis that there's a pattern of racketeering in this case, and these people are linked like that. So Major General Boysen is charged in terms of Section 21F of the POCA, which is managing the operations, because he was the head of the serious violent crime in Ketomena, and he was managing its activities. And those activities, unfortunately, included the murder of these people, because he was aware that these people are being killed and all of that, but nothing was done, one after the other, 28 in number. It can be how the police operate. Yeah, that's what I wanted to elaborate on, sir. Chair.
You make a point in your memorandum to Advocate Batoi in closing
Yes.
at page 39 of 56, under that rubric, monetary awards, the last paragraph, the next page. You can read it
yes.
again. I know you read it into the record, but it tallies
Yes.
with what you're saying. You can read
Yes,
that
Chair.
paragraph.
Yes, Chair. I said to Advocate Batowi that this...
No, that's...
yes, I'm reading.
Are you reading there?
Yes.
The sentence, the paragraph that starts with Boysens as the provincial commander. You see paragraph 5, headed, monetary awards. The next page
Yes.
is on page 39 of 56, at the bottom of page numbering.
Yes, I can see that.
That last paragraph before paragraph 6, statements of Andrew Cousin.
Yes.
That last paragraph speaks to what you have just said. You can
Yes,
read it into the record again?
Yes, Chair. It reads thus: Boysen, as the provincial commander of organized crime, had intimate knowledge of the operations of the Ketomena SVC section when it was eliminating the KwaMaphumulo Taxi Association members instead of arresting them for any alleged offenses. As a manager, he did nothing to stop this killing spree because it was fulfilling the arrangement with Stenga Taxi Association as stated in Matonzi's statement.
Among others, according to you, what you are reading then links General Boysen's with those activities by virtue of the POCA provision, section 2, 1F.
Yes,
as you
Chair.
say.
Yes, managing the operations.
You have earlier referred us to the High Court application and then to the statement of the attorney, Attorney Shoshi. You found it in the record. Do you want to add anything? Or you just referring to them as forming part of the record? You also make a point at paragraph 6 in relation to the one who was flying General Boysen's to the scenes. You can read paragraph 6 of 39 of 56.
Yes, Chair. It's statement of Andrew Carson Cochrane, dated 16 May 2013. He will state that he was a crew member to the pilot who flew Boysen to the scene where Magojela, the KwaMaphumulo taxi boss, was killed. It is the prosecution team's view that this helicopter was on standby to carry Boysen pending the notification by his foot soldiers that the execution of Magojela has been fulfilled.
Sorry, you look at page 41 of 56. of that memorandum to Advocate Batohi,
Yes.
under paragraph 9.
Yes, Chair.
It's a statement of the Provincial Deputy Commissioner Brown.
Yes, Chair.
The last part, the hanging paragraph, after the last bullet. Can you read those few lines?
Yes, Chair. It reads as thus: during the daily crime reports at the province, when crime intelligence would present crime reports, Poison would confirm the contents of the shooting incident reports and provide additional information.
Is this hanging paragraph part of the statement of Commissioner Brown?
No, it is the analysis by the prosecution team from the prosecution memorandum.
It is the analysis.
Yes, that's true.
Now, in terms of the reporting lines, as explained by Provincial Deputy Commissioner Brown, who was the head there? I see he's referring to Captain Van Tonde, Colonel Olivier, Colonel Ayer, Director Boysons. Who was the head?
My understanding was that Colonel Ayer, Rajendran Ayer, was the head, and the other members were reporting to him. However, there was sort of an impasse or something like that, as I was made to understand, and then Major General Boysen was the one to whom members who supposed to report to Colonel Ayer reported directly to in relation to Ketomena.
And in 10, he reported to Commissioner Brown.
Yes, Chair.
You may proceed.
May I just come in here, Chair?
Yes. Yeah.
Advocate Noku, for now, the purpose of my questions will be to deal with the delivery and receipt of the exchange of information or request for information between yourself and Advocate Batohi.
Yes.
Now, you say that you received a request for information from Advocate Batohi in August. We don't have the copy, we don't have the precise date on which the request was made. But the question is, how was that request delivered to you?
Okay. It was on the 27th of August 2020. I received it via email through my PA, who was then Ms. Tertia van Billion. She gave me the document. It was through email. Dated, actually it was dated 25 August 2020, but it was emailed and received by me through my PA on the 27th of August 2020. And I just don't have it, unfortunately. But then it was saying concerns are raised or something to that effect regarding these following cases. Then explain like your decisions or something like that. Clearly, I don't remember the contents, but it wanted me to explain what happened in each of those cases. Was there evidence for people to be charged? Were there reasons for people not to be charged or for cases to be withdrawn, something to that effect. That's why I got to be so detailed in my elaboration and explanation to her.
Yeah. Advocate Noku. Generally, I don't ask complex questions or compound questions. I'll ask one at a time.
Yes.
So you say it was delivered to you by electronic mail
Yes.
via your PA.
Yes, ma'am.
And it was directly from Advocate Batohi, or what is the position?
It was from Advocate Batohi, hence even my report is addressed to her directly.
Yeah, now let's talk about your response.
Yes.
How was your response conveyed to Advocate Batohi?
I remember because it was very voluminous. It was scanned and emailed, and it was also hand delivered to her office. So it was in twofold, manually and electronically.
Let's talk about electronic delivery. Was it delivered to her email address? And if so, is it directly to her or via the PA or both?
It was both. She was copied, her PA and herself.
Who was copied? Who was the addressee of the email? When you send an email, it will be to so and then copy so and so. Do you remember?
I don't quite remember how it was put, but then I know it was sent to her and her PA, and I know it was delivered.
Do you know whether your response reached her?
I know it reached her because as much as she did not, I don't know, did she acknowledge receipt or what? It's just unfortunate I don't have access to my emails anymore or any records. But I don't know whether she acknowledged or what, but to show that she had received it. The next thing I received were reasons, to finish reasons why I should not be suspended. She was not asking about the response to her 25 August 2020 letter. I know she received those. She received my response.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I wanted to establish as to whether you know whether she received your response or not. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, ma'am.
636.
Okay, thank you, Chair. The above are just extracts from some of the witness statements, ballistic experts' reports, the prosecution memorandum, and other relevant documents that I had access to from the prosecution team, explaining the commission of various crimes, including the killing of 28 people. A prima facie case and reasonable prospects of a successful prosecution exist in this case. It is on this basis that I do not agree with the decisions to withdraw charges against the accused persons in the Katomena cases by Advocate Shamila Batohi, Advocate Elaine Harrison, who was formerly Zungu, her team, the DICOC panel, and all others who were involved in the withdrawal of charges against these people. I further disagree that any prosecutor who supported the prosecution of this case as it stands, or any case like this one, has acted improperly. Furthermore,
Before you proceed,
yes,
am I correct that the charges against Major General Boyson was withdrawn in 2019, somewhere there?
yes, Chair, because it was Section 21E and 21F, which are racketeering authorizations that can only be issued or withdrawn by an NDPP. So those two, yeah. And the others, I think it was later, whether in the same year or 2020, I'm not sure.
When the request was made in August 2020,
Yes.
the racketeering charges were already withdrawn.
Yes, my understanding, because it was in the previous year, 2020, 2019, around June or so, yes.
Are you in a position to explain why then were the charges. Why then was the explanation sought post the withdrawal of the charges?
Chair, it was clear to me. The seeking of explanation and clarification from me was just a formality, because nothing was done about it as far as maybe reinstating the case or anything like that. It was just a formality to follow processes, to have an inquiry or a disciplinary action against me, because nothing was done about that. So that is my understanding. It doesn't make sense to make a decision. You don't seek clarification, you don't seek explanations from the people who were involved in the case. You withdraw it, and after that, you want explanations. They give you clear, detailed explanations, and you still don't do anything about it in the interest of justice. You do nothing about the case. So it was clearly a formality that was just being followed to follow the processes that she wanted to follow against me, that she wanted to pursue against me.
But why do you think that she wanted to pursue you with an inquiry?
Chair, there were a lot of things that were happening. I don't know whether to say it or not to say it, and how I'm going to prove it, but it was something that was said to my ears, not what I heard somebody saying, somebody said, somebody, no. I was told to my face when I was still DPP in KZN. That was 2019. I went for an interview for in DPP, so did Advocate Chauke, and others as well. And then I was told there in KZN that Advocate Batohi will come and will deal with me, Advocate Chauke, and the other people. And I asked why, and I was told no. One of the reasons was that I came all the way from Pretoria. I landed in KZN. I shouldn't be there. They don't agree with some of the decisions I made. Like I don't know, like it's a lot of hearsay politics that you can even call gossip, that I wouldn't even have put in my affidavit, because it's not something that I can prove, but I was told. I know I was told. And the treatment that I got from her confirmed what I had when I was in KZN. And the reason why I even wanted to move from KZN, I wanted to leave KZN to the KZNers and come back home in Gauteng. It's just that there was no relevant or same position as DPP in Gauteng. So the closest I asked to go to the Northwest. And it was on that basis that I asked for a transfer to go to Northwest, because I was running away and thinking, perhaps if I'm away from KZN, people will be happy that I'm out of their hair, and then I'm away. So I moved because she was not treating me well. That is something I know, and she knows it. But it's not something that I can tangibly prove. For example, one day there was this conference, I think it was in Irene Centurion or something like that, where DPPs, we volunteered to say, okay, I will do this task, I will do this task. I also volunteered to say I will do a particular task. I don't remember the task, but it was coordinating some project countrywide. And so were other DPPs as well. Okay, so we did that. So one day after that, one day now we were at head office, we were in a meeting. During lunchtime, I was sitting in the boardroom. It was in the AAF. Okay, I think it was in the Asset Forfeiture Unit boardroom, which I think was on the first or second floor of the VGM building in head office. Then she came to me and she said to me, no, I don't want you doing that project. I will take it away. I'll give it to somebody else. And I asked her why. And that is just one of the incidents. She was not treating me well. So I realized she was not okay with me. And
So
I don't know why.
Maybe we can pause there.
Yeah.
Maybe we can pause there. It shouldn't be like you are testifying against
Yes.
all these people, including Advocate Batoyi,
Yes.
because probably you are bitter maybe we shouldn't get into those nitty-gritties of your relationship that became sour.
Yes.
Let's focus on the matters we assist with.
Yes,
But
Chair.
we hear you. You had just
Yes.
Advocate Nogu, you say in your opening sentence on paragraph 7 that you do not agree with the decision to withdraw charges against the accused person in the Katomana cases
Yes.
by Advocate Batohi and Advocate Harrison and the DCOG team and everybody else.
Yes.
Can you just quickly maybe run through your reasons why you do not agree with that decision?
As elaborated earlier, that there is a prima facie case and there are reasonable prospects of a successful prosecution. There is direct evidence in relation to other accused. There is circumstantial evidence in relation to the other accused, like Major General Boysen. There is circumstantial evidence. There is evidence of similar fact. And hearsay evidence can also be used in respect of the statements of the deceased people and all of those. So meaning that there is a case that the accused must answer to. And I do not agree with the withdrawal of this case because there is a prima facie case. So it is wrong, according to me, to have withdrawn it. It's not in the interest of justice to have done so in a case like this.
You earlier on testified that you were overseeing these prosecutions.
Yes.
Now, is it normal practice that the NDPP would withdraw a case where the DPP is overseeing those cases and the cases are within your jurisdiction? Is it normal for the NDPP to withdraw? Or is there a procedure or a process that is followed by the NDPP to withdraw a case that is being overseen by a DPP and they are in that DPP's jurisdiction?
Okay, thank you. The NDPP can withdraw any case within the NPA in any division of the country, in any province, because the NDPP is a national director. He or she oversees prosecutions in the entire country. So she had a right to withdraw it if there were valid reasons for that. My gripe is because of the fact that I believe there's a prima facie case and it should not have been withdrawn, as it's not in the interest of justice to do so, but not with regards to her authority to do that. Only a DPP cannot withdraw a case of another DPP's jurisdiction, but NDPP can throughout the country.
Just as a follow-up, before these cases were withdrawn, were you informed as the DPP in that jurisdiction?
No, I learned from the media about it.
Thank you, Chair.
I'll reserve this question towards the end of your testimony. Paragraph 38. You seem to have alluded to poker.
Oh, yes, I have. I must go to 38. Okay.
Read it into the record. It's part of your
Thank
statement.
you, Chair. Furthermore, with the available prima facie case and the east burden of proof by the Prevention of Organized Crime Act 121 of 1998 in poker prosecutions, due to the fact that evidence that would ordinarily not be admitted in ordinary prosecutions are, however, admitted in poker prosecutions, like similar fact evidence, hearsay evidence, joining in, etc. The need for the prosecution of the Ketomena case becomes more glaring and obvious because the prospect of its successful prosecution had become heightened as a result. Its withdrawal is unfortunate.
that part takes you to the point that I asked you earlier in relation to the Zondo Commission. You may
Yes.
also read it into the record.
Okay,
The
thank you,
extent
Chair.
relevant.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. During early 2019, I was contacted by one of the evidence leaders at the Zondo Commission of Inquiry into State Capture regarding a document that had been compiled in my name and my office letterhead of DPP KZN. This document was then emailed to me by the said evidence leader. Upon receipt and perusal of that document, I gathered that it was a memo or covering letter that was for an application for racketeering authorizations during 2012 in the Ketomena case. The evidence leader asked me if the signature at the bottom of that document was mine. In response, I informed the evidence leader that it was not mine because it was not. The evidence leader asked me if I knew whose signature it was, and I answered that I think that the signature looked like that of Advocate Andrew Chowk.
As at 2012,
Yes,
were
Chair.
you in KZN? As at 2012, were you already in KZN?
Yes, I went to KZN in 2009
2009.
as a deputy DPP, yes.
And you were appointed as a DPP when?
Permanent in 2013 to act in 2012.
2012. The signature that you identified as that of Advocate Chauke
Yes.
was on the application for racketeering authorization certificate
Yes, Chair.
in 2012.
Yes, Chair.
Who was the DPP then?
I think when that application was made, I was the acting DPP. Shortly after Advocate Simpiwe Mloja was the acting DPP. I became acting DPP in July 2012.
You may proceed.
Thank you, Chair. The various Ketomena cases were subsequently withdrawn in 2019 by Advocate Shamila Batoyi and Advocate Elaine Harrison, respectively. I was informed by the prosecution team that their response reports were not sought before the withdrawals, nor did the DCOC panel seek the prosecutor's views or reports. It had always been a practice of fairness and justice in the NPA, which conforms to the rule of natural justice of Audi et al. Taram Partem rule, that whenever there is a need to review a case, the views of the prosecutor or prosecutors who dealt with that particular case or cases be sought first before a decision is made on whether or not to confirm or review the decision. Unfortunately, those rules and practice were not applied in the Ketomena cases. My report on the Ketomena case was only requested from me by Advocate Shamila Batoyi during August 2020, while the case was withdrawn already during the previous year, 2019, and not even for the purpose of relooking at the withdrawal of this case for justice's sake, but for other reasons. As far as I was involved and knew, the one and only
I
reason...
beg your pardon?
Yeah,
For other reasons?
yes.
What reasons were those?
To charge me with an inquiry or something like that.
To charge?
To have an inquiry, to say I'm unfit for office because of the decisions in those cases. Because nothing was done after my thorough and detailed explanation about the case. all those cases, actually, not just Ketomena.
Proceed, ma'am.
Thank you, Chair. As far as I was involved and knew, the one and only reason why Major General Boysen and the Ketomena unit members have been charged in the Ketomena case is due to the prima facie case and reasonable prospects of a successful prosecution that exists in that case. As I have explained the basis supra, I'm not aware of the existence of any plot or plots to derail anyone from any investigation of anyone by charging them in the Ketomena case or any other case. I have supra referred to some cases, case 466 and case 781, as related to the Ketomena because it has been mentioned by Major General Boysen that he was being charged in the Ketomena unit because he was investigating Mr. Toshan Pandey, who was the accused in the 466 and the 781 cases. And that the latter, being Mr. Toshan Pandey, was a business partner of the former president's son. I know nothing of those. I do not know who is or was whose business partner of whose son. That did not and still does not concern me in my prosecutorial duties and in any way. During my tenure...
Does that, the former president's son, does that refer to President Zuma's son?
Yes, Chair. During my tenure as DPP in KZN, I was not aware of any case or cases that Major General Boysen was investigating for which he claimed to have been targeted and thus charged in the Ketomena case. Upon hearing this claim, I inquired from Advocate Bulelwa Vimbani, who was then the head of the Specialized Commercial Crimes Unit in Durban, and she indicated that she also did not have any case in her unit, the SCCU, that Major General Boysen was investigating then. My reasons and those of Advocates Vimbani and Letolo in respect of these cases being the 466 and the 781 are in our various reports.